Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 8. So Module 8 is the midpoint of the semester, which means a couple of things. First of all, you need to be checking your grade under the Grades tab. It's really important that you keep track of your grades this semester to see what you're scoring on things, but also to make sure that there wasn't anything that you submitted incorrectly. If you submit something incorrectly, I put a 0 in there and then I provide a comment as to what's going on with it. So if you see a 0 for something that you know that you submitted, make sure you check that feedback and give me a new copy of it if that's what's required. So the midpoint of the semester, we are working on the annotated bibliography. This is the assignment before we start the research paper. So in the last unit, you gave me a topic proposal for a potential topic for your research paper. At this point, I would have gone through it and gone through them and responded to you ideas for how to continue forward with that topic. And now what you're going to be doing is the research for that topic and then writing an annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliographies are very standard in any research-based class, so you might find that you're doing these quite a bit in the future. The thing to remember about an annotated bibliography is that its sole purpose is to help with research. It's not really an essay, and so if you think of it as an essay, you'll probably just confuse yourself. So I'm going to show you what's going on in this module and explain the bibliography a little bit more in depth. So the first thing you want to be looking at is the criteria. Again, it's not an essay. So when you're picturing it in your head, do not picture an essay assignment. Basically what an annotated bibliography is an introductory paragraph. So it's an overview of your topic. This is not the same as an introduction to a research paper. It's just an overview of the topic itself. So think general, there's no hook required, that kind of thing. Maybe 4 sentences is all you need. After that point, you will have 12 works cited entries, which will be the 12 sources that you could potentially use in your research paper. They do not need to be sources that you will use in your research paper because you haven't written that yet. So the bibliography is all in anticipation of writing the research paper, but that's not done yet. Your 12 sources, it really isn't much of a limit to them, but you do need to have at least 4 different types of sources. And so, if you've gotten quite a few journal articles, maybe get an ebook, look up a documentary on YouTube, something like that. You can also look for things like government documents, published work. I highly recommend, if you have the chance, go to a library and see what they have, just because it'll give you something different to look at. The idea with a annotated bibliography is that we gather a wide array of information. Not all of that information will be used or show up in your final draft of your research paper, but that's okay because we really just want to see what's out there. So if you're researching vampires, for example, you're going to have probably some scholarly sources. You might have a nonfiction type of book where it's going over monsters and things like that. But you'll probably want Dracula on there. That's a fiction book. You'll probably want maybe the Twilight series or the movies or something like that could go on there, and that would be a different type of source. So we could have different types of sources, even if they're covering some of the same things. That's okay. What we want is just a variety. So each annotation is 12. So you have 12 annotations. Each annotation is 1 works cited entry and then 1 paragraph. The paragraph is between 5 and 8 sentences, and I do want you to count your sentences here. I don't want them too short or too long. 5 and 8 sentences that covers both the summary of a content, so what is it about, and then also the source's credibility and usefulness. So we've already taken a look at the CRAP test, taking a look at evaluating sources. That's the kind of thing that you're going to use here, which is to evaluate the usefulness and credibility of the source, mostly the credibility, because we want to know what is it about the source that makes it trustworthy or not. So you may be thinking about like you have two sources, one of them has an author and the other one doesn't. They may say roughly the same thing, but because one of them has an author listed who has credentials, you know that that's going to be a little bit more credible than the other one. You can put both of them on your bibliography, but I expect to see that discussion in your evaluation of those sources. Just in general, you'll be using third person pronouns for this. Really, you can use some first person if you want in the evaluation, but that's not necessary since you're writing it. We understand that this is your opinion of it. Obviously, you want to be omitting second person because you're not telling the reader what he or she thinks of these sources. The format can be found on page 449 in Rules for Writers. I want you to follow this format. It shows you what one annotation looks like. It's the works cited entry followed by a paragraph about that source. It is not a difficult assignment, but students will first get themselves confused because they're thinking in terms of an essay and it's not an essay. Or they'll wait to the last minute, and it does take a while. It's very repetitive. It's kind of a boring assignment. But once you get through this, once you get all of your 12 sources found, you've written a paragraph about each one of them, you will be much better prepared to write your research paper than if we had just jumped straight into the paper. So this assignment does count as an essay in this class because it's so labor intensive, but it does not look like an essay when you're done. So just keep that in mind. I've got some resources for you. There's a page for the Purdue OWL and constructing an annotated bibliography. I think I have some examples that I'll pop in there for you as well. More information about database sources that will help you out. And then I've got a couple of links in here. One of them being the library. Really, really important place to start your research is just using the Allen Library. You can use a library that you also have access to if you're attending another school, that's fine. But the Allen Library in particular is helpful. If you are near the Allen campus or the Iowa campus, you can search through their catalog and see if they have any physical books about your topic. But most of you will be limited to the database access and the ebooks. If you just click on database access, it gives you all of our databases that we have access to, and you can search everything if you want to. And so that is a really useful way to just get an idea of what's in there, what's in the library. If you click on anything, if you want to view the text of anything, you do need to log in using your Allen username and password. The first thing you should do if you just do a general search is limit to full text online if you're not near Iola, because that will just give you the sources that you have access to right now. The other thing that's useful is if you have a research starter, because this is just kind of typically something out of a encyclopedia, but just gives you an overview and might give you some other search terms to look for. So like vampires in film might be something that I would search for later if I want more specific stuff about that. And then it just sort of lists different topics or different sources after that. Most of them will have an HTML full text or a PDF full text that you can open. And so that's really useful. And then you might have some videos that pop up and that kind of thing. So all different kinds of sources. You can limit types of sources over here if you're looking for, a video or something, a different type of source that you haven't looked at before. So I've got that linked in there, and I also have the link to the databases itself. And then this is the spot where you're going to turn in your annotated bibliography, and so just make sure that you have the formatting correct, and there's the grading rubric as with our essays. It'll look similar. And then, so that's the major part of this. It's going to take you the longest to do in this unit. But the other assignment, you have one other assignment, and that is just a midpoint reflection. So at the very beginning of the semester, you sent me an email, which was just making some plans and some goals for the semester. Now you're going to reflect back on whether or not you feel like you are meeting your goals for the semester. What's been the most challenging assignment? What's the biggest thing that you're going to take away from this class at this point? What sort of changes do you need to make? So we're just reflecting on what you've accomplished so far and what you need to change for the rest of the semester. And then this is also a good place where if there's something that you you would prefer to see in the class that would help you to be more successful, you can put that in here. So if there, something specific that you want to message, specific feedback that you want to give me that can help me out, you can put that in this midpoint reflection assignment as well. So this is just, you can just do a numbered list, or you can write it out as an essay, that's fine, but you'll just submit that. That shouldn't take you very long to complete. So that has been Module 8. Hopefully you're doing well. This annotated bibliography will take you a little while, so make sure you leave yourself plenty of time to do it. If you have any questions, send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.